So I know I've spent my entire life hating everything about hippies, like at a level that Eric Cartman would find almost extreme. But somehow, Andrew, I found myself becoming more and more of a hippie in my unemployment. So let's get into that. I'm not wrong with Jeff and Andrew. Let's dive in. Andrew, I've started to shift to I have a composter now. I'm saving food scraps and composting it myself at home. I've got a garden going. I mean, like I wear sandals most of the time. I think I'm shifting and morphing, and I don't know what to do about it.
It's time for what I'm referring to as a fraudulent Freudian analysis.
I
I'm
like
not
it.
trained, I'm not educated, but we're rolling with it anyway.
But you
So,
have watched episodes of Frasier, or at least I have. So
and I've spent a lot of time in therapy, but that's more receiving than actually advising. So I don't know. We'll see if there's carryover. I got some
I
lingo I
mean,
can use.
I feel like the skills are virtually. I feel like getting it is the same. You
Yeah,
pick
could
it up
be.
by
So,
osmosis.
so let's unpack this. Why do we feel the need to garden? Some thoughts. Are you in a competition with your wife? There's a new child there. You see her nurturing. You're like, what am I doing here? She gave life. I will create sustenance. Are we going like nomad with it? Is this like tribal?
I
Thoughts.
so I like the analysis. I like the idea. Definitely like there's some Freudian stuff there. Like I said, I'm picking my analysis comes purely off of what I learned from watching Frasier, a show which I assume is 100% medically accurate to psychiatry. No way it could be false. Um,
Agreed.
and they've got Freudians and Jungians because Niles is a Jungian. So I've got both perspectives. But no, like the thought, not that at all for two reasons. One, I've got two other kids, didn't have that problem before. Two, I actually, and this is not a dig at my wife is fully employed. I am not right now. I do more of the nurturing of the children than she does because I have the free time. So I definitely am not trying to fill that void or compete in that way. I think it's more,
No, you can't give me your thoughts yet because I
okay,
have more
I'll
Freudian
wait, but
theories
it's
to
not that.
unpack
I can
here.
tell you it's not that.
Okay. Is there Well, and this feels low-hanging fruit still, even in 2026, but hey, it's Freud, so we're all with it, and I'm a fraud. Is there a gender component here? Now that you have a daughter, you are a kindler, gentler Jeffrey.
I mean,
Girl bad.
I don't think that's it, but the stuff, all the other thing, because here's the other thing I've gotten into. I do a lot of, this might help your analysis, so I'm not going to give you my thoughts. I'm going to give you more background data
Okay.
that I think is helpful.
Context.
The other thing I've gotten into also around the time of the birth of my daughter, so um, first kids, bought the baby food, new baby, make my baby food, primarily. Buy it occasionally if I'm in a hurry, but make homemade baby food because she's eating solids and stuff. I have primarily gotten away from buying store-bought bread and make my own bread. I very much like only the ingredients I know will go in my body. Like trying to do more from scratch type cooking. If that gives you
Okay,
help
see,
for your analysis, because I have thoughts on why I'm doing these things, but I'll let you go.
up until you said you're more concerned about what you're putting into your body, I was like, that's actually pretty on brand for you because you've cooked, or you can cook. You are a cook. You have a palate that you like to speak of in a high regard, and I generally would agree with. We've had a lot of great meals together, so that part didn't
And I
really
do cook like
surprise
5 days
me.
a week.
Yeah, oh yeah, I knew that. So like the whole baking bread and stuff to me is like, well, a big limiting factor, I'm assuming, in stopping you from doing those things was time, and now you have it.
That is
So
correct. That is
that
true.
didn't surprise me, but the thought about what you're putting into your body, that one was a little more shocking.
Okay, so analyze me,
Okay,
Doctor Jermaine.
are we looking to create beauty in the relative wasteland that 2026 has been so far? A mental, spiritual, physical oasis in the shit that surrounds us.
I don't know that's the entire reason, but I do think there's truth to that. I think your analysis, albeit fraudulent, has hit on some accurate things. The world around is crumbling. There's definitely a bit of creating something more stable in the area that I can control.
Okay, okay. Okay, so before you give me your reasoning, my final question would be Greta mode when? When are you getting on boats to like try and save the planet for the future of your children? When do we go full eco warrior? When are you going to be riding for the cause, Jeff? What timeline are we thinking? 5 years, 10 years? Like when the youngest is driving in college? What do we think? What do you think?
I think the answer to that is never. I don't think I'm, and that's where I think Eric Cartman would be okay. I don't think I've gotten full blown, and I really hope I don't get to full blown hippie mode. I could
Okay.
see what I could see myself doing is going the other extreme of full blown like homesteader mode. Like given my choice, and Ashley's aware of this, not fully on board with this yet, but coming around. Given my choice, and the option to sell my home and buy some land and build on it, I would love some acreage, some animals, a small farm, and like much more self-sufficient type stuff. Not full blown off the grid, although that would be cool. I'm not opposed to that. But more like, I would love to raise rabbits for meat. She's not on board with that. She doesn't want to eat rabbit. I think it's a great plan because rabbits breed like rabbits. But grow my own vegetables, have some goats to go and like
Ooh,
eat the brambles, stuff like that. I would like full blown Clarkson.
more fraudulent Freudian analysis. I'm glad you brought up Clarkson. Would you attribute your desire to eat rabbit to your English roots? Because you resided there for a bit after Panama, which is, your home soil, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken. I did reside in the United Kingdom for about 4 years.
How much rabbit did you eat there, scale of 1 to 10? And how much do you miss it now, scale of 1 to 5?
So 8-0, not even a scale of 1 to 10, 8-0. My mother does not like rabbit. I don't even know.
0 was an interesting phrasing because I said the numbers were 1 to 10 and you chose 80, but okay.
And I chose 0 because like 1 would imply I ate it at least one, like I ate it a minimal amount. I ate 0. I don't think I had rabbit until I was an adult.
Oh, so you have had it.
I've had rabbit. I like rabbit, but I never had
okay.
rabbit in my time in the United Kingdom.
So sell me on rabbit, like, is a food source outside of the fact it is abundant. Is it good? Does it taste good?
I think it tastes good. It tastes, it's a little bit like, it's kind of greasy if it's not cooked well, but if you cook it right, you can deal with the grease. It's kind of like a greasy red meat. It's a little bit gamey, but it's not, and like you season it well, you cook it right. It can be really good. I enjoy rabbit. I think rabbit's good.
Okay.
And the reason as a food source is raising cows is a heck of a lot more money and difficult. I'd rather have cows or both, or have some cows. So like I would raise a lot of things for meat given the choice
Or
time.
Or you continue down your hippie path and go vegetarian.
No, that won't happen. See,
The
like
earth will sustain us.
See, that won't be happening. Like I eat a minimal amount of vegetables to begin with, and I am very much in the camp of if there's not meat on the table, it is not a meal. There has to be some type of meat in my meal. It's how I grew up and it's how I am. Vegetables to me they're either a garnish or an ingredient to amplify the flavor of meat, or they can be a side dish. They are not a main dish.
Can I interest you in some tofu?
Not even a little bit. Not a fan of soy. I'm not a fan of soy-based stuff. The other thing I will not touch is lab-grown meat. First of all, it's not meat. Shouldn't legally be allowed to call that. That's a whole other tangent I won't get on tonight. But not a big fan of that. Tofu, nah. I mean, like,
Is that
I had to do what I
actually been
could.
a problem in your life, running into lab-grown meat, or is that more of just like a preemptive ethical stance?
It's more of a preemptive ethical stance.
Okay, I was about
I
to
don't
say,
run into that as a major issue.
What
It's
do
more
you
like
do in your free time in North Carolina where lab-grown meat is an issue? Like that was going to be my first big
no,
question of the day.
it's not so. Yeah, it's not so much that it's an issue today. It's an issue I foresee coming, and it's a preemptive ethical stance.
And that in and of itself is a note to the amount of free time we both have, because I have put zero thought into lab-grown meat.
I put more than 0 in. I can tell you that.
Okay, fair.
All right. So do you want to
See,
hear
in
my
my-
thoughts on why I believe that I'm gardening? You can tell me if my analysis is off based on your pedigree and your education in the matter.
Yes. Yes. Okay, hit me.
So
why
what
are
I
we
believe
gardening?
it to be the case is it's largely health related to an extent. So, as you know, I went hardcore dieting and exercise a few years back. My diet's fluctuated a little bit. I need to stop eating sweets. I got back into sweets. I need to get off that again, but it happens. But I there were a couple things that kind of drove this. Like I started dieting a lot more, so because of that, I was a lot more picky with what I was eating. So it was a lot more whole foods and things like that. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, there's a lot of crap in a lot of the crap we eat, both what's legal in America versus like you look at food labels in America for the same food in Europe. And I've gone to Europe a number of times. It's ridiculous. The vast, like Fruit Loops is a great example. Fruit Loops in America, 80 ingredient list of a bunch of chemicals you can't name. In the UK, in Canada, in the other parts of the world, like 5 ingredients, and it's mostly like fruit flavors, like very different. So
Mexican Coke, goated. European Fanta, it's actually made with oranges, and it's like a little bit of
it looks
pulpiness.
completely
It's like
different.
opaque. It's not the same thing. Any of their lemon beverages are so much better because it's actual lemon instead of just citric acid.
Yeah.
Like
So
most of what we eat shouldn't legally be able to be called food,
and it's
weird
not
that we're
legally able to be called food in most of the world. That's like genuinely like Mountain Dew is not sold. Like Mountain Dew is a drink that, as much as I'm trying to eat more healthy stuff, I drink Mountain Dew zero sugar. I switched to zero sugar Mountain Dew because something's going to kill me, and aspartame may be the thing. I don't care. I've got to have some type of soda. I like soda. I don't drink alcohol, and I don't drink coffee, so I need something. Soda's my vice. And I stopped drinking regular Mountain Dew because like it was like 250 calories a bottle, and I would drink like 5 of them a day. I was like, wow, that's a ton of empty calories.
That's
like,
half your daily recommended for whatever that's worth,
yeah,
right?
to drink some soda. And so I was like, okay, I know that I won't stick to a diet if I can't have some soda. So I started drinking zero sugar, got myself used to it. Again, anybody in the comments wants to tell me all the bad things wrong with zero sugar and diet sodas, I get it. Don't really care. It's better than eating a million candy bars. And frankly, everything in the world gives you cancer now. Something's going to kill me. This is something I enjoy the taste of, and it gives me some type of sweet and some release. I'm going to keep it. So anyway, I drink a lot of that. You can't even get that in Europe because there's so much crap in it. It's not even made over there, is my broader point. And I know that, and I still drink it.
Tangent, what flavor, like if you had to describe Mountain Dew to a European, what flavor would you say it is?
I honestly, that's a really hard question. I'll come back to that because I don't know if I can describe Mountain Dew. It's
Citrus Enigma.
it's I would call it citrus adjacent. It's not really citrusy, but it's sort of citrusy. It's a little bit like, I don't know. I love Mountain Dew.
It tastes the color because like Code Red is my favorite personally. They say it's cherry. It doesn't taste like cherry. It tastes red. It tastes vaguely red, and it's delicious.
I don't like Code Red very much, but I agree with you on your explanation of the flavor. It tastes and Livewire. I used to drink Livewire a lot when I was younger. Livewire.
Is that the blue or the orange?
That's the orange one. And it doesn't taste like orange soda, and it doesn't taste like Mountain Dew. It just tastes like itself. There's nothing you can call it. Like it's just a thing. And but it's not orange soda, because like I used to drink orange soda, a lot of orange soda too, like Sunkist. Sunkist has a distinct flavor. It's not really orange. It's like hyper sweet, but
yeah.
But Livewire's not that.
See, and Mountain Dew really, for things that'll kill us, it really is the goated soda line. I mean, even some of the really, really weird crap, like I saw that they had that high voltage black raspberries back. Mm-hmm. That's actually not bad. I remember that from growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Baja Blast, when you go to Taco Bell, half Mountain Dew, half Powerade. Yeah, also delicious.
Mountain Dew is amazing. Like I said, I knew for a fact, this was like 3 years or 4 years ago when I started dieting really heavily and stuff and lost a bunch of weight. I knew for a fact I won't stick with this if I can't drink Mountain Dew, because I liked it enough that I was like, if I have to give up everything, I'm not going to stick with it. I just know I won't. So I love Mountain Dew. I will be a champion of Mountain Dew. If they would like to endorse this show, I would happily wear Mountain Dew gear all the time. I'm all on the Mountain Dew train, regardless of the fact that I know it's full of a bunch of stuff that shouldn't legally be food.
So is there like the Mexican Coke equivalent for Mountain Dew?
They have Mountain Dew that comes with real sugar, like original recipe Mountain Dew. But that's it.
Oh, final tangent on Mountain Dew before we get back to, your gardening, hippie
Yes.
awakening, and nirvana attainment, all that is after a football game, I was feeling like a college kid again and felt like making a bad decision. So I got the hard Mountain Dew. It's not terrible. It is honestly not terrible. And I don't drink much of anything, and I generally don't really like the taste of alcohol outside of like
Nor
scotch
do
for
I,
whatever
which is why I
reason.
pretty much stopped drinking since I graduated college.
Yeah, but hard Mountain Dew was shockingly palatable. Like Mountain Dew, it's just one of those can't miss things
I
apparently.
could see hard Mountain Dew being something I could drink as well, because like I drink very much like you drink. I mean, both of us primarily drink drinks when we choose to drink, unless we're
I just
unless
say things that taste good, but yeah, do you?
yeah, we can all call it. Well, you know what it is. Everybody knows what that is, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Like I don't need to drink something that tastes horrid to get like even when I used to drink to get drunk in college. Like why do I have to hate this while I'm doing it? Like what's the value in that? Girl drinks taste better. They just do.
And schnapps have lower alcohol content for lightweights like me, so it works out.
Not necessarily, because stuff like Rumplemans is like isn't Rumplemans like 100 proof?
Yeah, but Rumplemints is also like the devil's urine, along with Black 100 and a few others. So that doesn't
Black
count.
100.
We don't
Black
include.
100. The only person I've ever met in my entire life who drank Black 100 was me.
Yeah, it is weird that you sought out a higher potency Jägermeister.
Yeah, I don't really know why I did. I don't.
I don't
Well,
either.
first of all, I don't think I sought it out. I discovered it once, and then it became my thing to walk around with a fifth of Black 100 and a fifth of pomegranate wine to chase it with. Because everyone else was chasing it with Monster. I was like, no, I'll chase this 100 proof liquor with 30 proof liquor. Because what's better than chasing booze with booze?
And I really do think, reflecting back on it now, still wearing my fraudulent Freudian analysis hat, that you and Trent had an arms race for height relative to alcohol consumption.
I think that's probably true. Ah, man, rest in peace, Trent Temple. I don't. I assume he's not dead. I don't know where he
I,
is.
I was about to say, is he dead? Jeez,
I don't
hope
think he's
not.
dead, but he's
Okay,
he's
good.
he's dead to me in the sense I haven't spoken to or heard from or about Trent Temple in like 10, 15 years.
But saying somebody is dead to you normally implies like, oh my gosh, I hate them. It's like I'm set, like we're
I
gonna
know what
fight
it
about it.
normally implies. I know what it
Not
normally
just
implies. But for the record,
I'm
I,
not.
I love Trent. I would hang out with Trent tomorrow. Uh, but I don't know what happened to Trent. He kind of just fell off the face of the earth.
Last I knew, off Facebook, I think he went into like a dental
He
hygienist role.
went into dental techno. Became a
That
dental
tech,
technician.
no
Which I
doubt.
think his mom was one as well. And he always used to have to keep it a secret that he dipped. And he didn't just dip, he would double horseshoe it. And he had to keep it a secret because his mom would have been furious that he was wrecking his gums and his teeth.
Yeah, I mean there are people that would chew, and then there are people who would just take a tin and like put it in to go to sleep. He was very much the latter.
Yeah.
Good times. So anyway,
Anyway, okay.
gardening.
So back to
Wow.
the garden. So
Back to
it,
the
it partially is like I started like I travel and stuff, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff in this food that isn't food. Like you look at bread, you buy bread off the shelf. Like I ate Wonder Bread and stuff as a kid, but they put stuff in it now they didn't then. It's like I can buy a loaf of bread for my kids' sandwiches for lunches, and it won't go bad for 3 weeks. Bread should not last for 3 weeks. Like if I bake a loaf of bread, it molds in a week. Like bread that will not mold is not bread. There's something funny about that. So I started thinking about that. And then I started, one of the other things I started thinking about was like, I'm doing all this dieting, but people in like the 50s and the 60s, they drank all the time. They didn't hardly ever go to like, people act like they were more fit then because they worked out and they didn't. They never went to the gym. They never worked out. They mostly just drank and smoked a ton. And they ate dessert with every meal. Everything was deep fried in lard. And I started thinking about it, I was like, I'm a big believer that like animal fats are good for you, contrary to and like now medical science is going that direction. It shifts all the time. Like eggs are good, eggs are bad, coffee's good, coffee's bad. But like I'm a big believer animal fats, things like that are good for you. Like butter, lard, that stuff's good for you because your body can digest it, unlike seed oils. So I stopped, like I used to use vegetable oil. Will not cook with vegetable oil, either avocado oil or olive oil. The only things I will use. And like if I'm going to use like shortening, I will use actual lard, stuff like that. Stuff that was around 50, 60 years ago because people weren't fat in the 50s. You look at pictures of them and they were eating that stuff and doing fine. They ate dessert every meal, all that. So I started thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm going to diet, but I'm also just going to start eating stuff that I can name what's in it. And I cook a lot anyway. I'm just going to take the time to cook things with slightly better, slightly more expensive ingredients. And part of the garden thing was like, I love fresh fruits, fresh vegetables anyway. You go to the grocery store, it's a mixed bag. Like, is this going to go bad in 12 hours when I get it home because it's been sitting on the shelf forever? If I grow it in my backyard, I know when I harvested it, I know how long it's been there, and I know what was put into it.
Fair. I like it also. What are we growing? Hit me.
I am growing, so I've got 2 gardens. And this garden's going to expand if it does well. I've got 2 gardens. I've got a all year long on my covered portion of my deck. I have a herb garden because again, I love to cook. I use a lot of fresh herbs in my food anyway.
Ooh, maybe is the green onion and water thing true? Where it'll just grow and you can just hack it off and just use the tops?
That is true, yeah.
I need to do that. But then again, I like using the bottom when I like cook Asian food and saute stuff. I like the white.
And in that case, obviously you can't. But yeah, if you do just if you are going to just use the tops, yes, you can grow it essentially perpetually. That's what I'm doing with herbs. Because that's part of why I did it. It was like I spent a lot of money buying herbs, and they go bad after not that long. To buy fresh herbs, and I was like, I love to use herbs and stuff in my cooking. Like if I'm doing steaks, I use rosemary, sprigs of rosemary and stuff. So in my herb garden, I am growing rosemary, thyme, oregano, and parsley. And
no sage.
So I'm probably going to plant some sage. I was going to do summer savory because I use that.
You also set it out of order. It's parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. That's the Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Hey.
But okay. I was going to do summer savory because we use that more in my house, but I couldn't find any plants or seeds for it. So I'm probably going to go plant a sage plant. What?
Summer savory? That's a thing?
Yeah. It's sort of like sage. But it's got a more savory taste. Ashley likes to use it a lot with like chicken and stuff. We typically buy it as a dried herb rather than a fresh herb. But anyway, so I was going to grow that. Couldn't find any plants or seeds, so I didn't do that. I'm also growing basil and cilantro, but they're not in my herb garden. Reason being, I did a lot of. I told you,
natural pest repellent.
What?
Right? Isn't cilantro a natural pest repellent?
It is. So that's partially why. It also will overtake a garden. It will grow very large, and my herb garden is smaller because it sits on my covered deck and it's a smaller thing. My rosemary is in its own pot because it has deeper roots. It needs to spread. The other 3 are in there, but basil is a companion plant with tomatoes. It will help tomatoes grow, helps the soil, helps to repel pests. Cilantro also is a natural pest repellent, and cilantro will get very bushy very quickly. So I needed more room for it. So I have a big raised bed. So I have a smaller herb garden, planning to grow that all year long, just keep harvesting, keep growing my herbs all the time. So I have fresh herbs. And all of this, I did a lot of research. Like one thing I've determined, I don't use AI a lot, but you know this, I've started using AI for certain things. One thing I really like it for is consolidating information very quickly. I took the knowledge of a bunch of gardening books, essentially from the internet, like in 5 minutes with ChatGPT, helping me figure out like what plants go well together, what's going to grow best in the climate I'm in, things like that. Like what can I fit in my bed without overcrowding
it. So far you're growing some bruschetta, some herbs, and cilantro. You're not a big vegetable guy, so I'm very curious where we go from here.
Okay, what else we got? So anyway, in the actual garden itself, I've got 2 tomato plants. I've got cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes. I eat tomatoes all the time. I've got a cucumber plant. I have got 2 pepper plants, red bell peppers and serrano peppers.
Okay.
And I might add some more pepper plants in there, but for now...
you're growing salsa now. We've graduated to salsa. I'm assuming there's an onion in there. Come on, onion.
Actually, I'm not growing onions.
Why not?
My mom is starting a garden as well, and she's going to grow onions, so I might swap her some of my stuff for some of hers and take some of her onions. I don't like onions personally, like just in general, I don't like onions. So I will use onions in cooking because you do need their flavor sometimes.
I was about to say.
Raw onions on burgers and stuff like that, I find disgusting, and I don't like sauteed onions. So I don't cook onions a lot unless I'm chopping them up into like a soup or a marinade.
Like a mirepoix? It's like the foundation of like most culinary.
There are ways to cook without it.
If you're
I'll use it for things that it absolutely has to be in. I don't like onions very much. I don't like texturally, I do not like onions. I don't know why, I just don't. Never liked onions.
Interesting. Okay.
And raw
Okay.
onions on burgers, I think, are one of the nastiest things you can eat.
Oh, I loves me some onion.
Yeah.
I went to an Indian joint and they had an onion salad. I'm like, I wonder what that's like. It was basically just a bunch of white onion chopped up with like some dressing on it.
Yeah, no,
Delicious.
that's foul to me. That's disgusting. So I'm not growing that. But anyway,
Okay.
I I will probably take some of my mom's because she'll probably have a surplus, and I'll probably give her some of my stuff. So anyway, so 2 tomato plants, cucumber plant, 2 pepper.
You do realize your garden has got you into communism and resource pooling amongst
This is bartering.
the proletariat? Or is that the
This is
bourgeoisie?
bartering.
Proletariat.
This is like no, this is more like feudal system bartering. I'm not taking.
It's a
She's not providing
slippery
me anything.
slope,
I'm
Jeff.
giving something back. It's bar, but I'm not a Marxist, nor will I ever be. But okay, so then I've got
Actions speak louder than words.
I've got 2
Continue.
pepper plants. I've got sweet basil, cilantro, and then I've got romaine lettuce, butter leaf lettuce,
Okay.
spinach, carrots,
I was about to say where your roots at. Carrots. Okay.
Carrots,
I'm
and then-
waiting for one more that
and
I.
then strawberries.
Okay.
And I wanted to grow potatoes, but potatoes require a lot of space and essentially would take over the entire raised bed. I have a 6x3x2 raised bed I used to plant in because my ground is not great for growing stuff and all that, and I didn't want to deal with HOA and all kinds of crap. So
Ooh, that could. Ooh, see, I hadn't considered those 3 letters. So I was about to hit you with 2 words. Apple tree. You have a yard?
I have a yard, but A, I don't eat apples a lot. B, it would take a lot. It takes a long time for an apple tree to get to the point where it's bearing fruit. Like if I planted it now, I don't think I'd have fruit for another couple years.
No, you can get them. I meant like getting it from a farm where it's mostly matured, and then they just dump it.
Well, yeah, to plant a new tree, I would have to get like HOA.
Yeah,
approval, and I
that
don't
would
feel like
be.
doing that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
If I was
didn't
going
consider
to
that
plant a
either.
new tree, also it probably wouldn't be apples. I'd probably do something like a citrus tree, either lemons or oranges. For 2 reasons. One, I prefer them as fruits. Like I'm one of the rare people who I would just eat a lemon. Like
And yet you don't. Not saying that there's a bunch of overlap between lemon and onions, but they're both a very like sharp, distinct.
they are.
One might say
Lemon
pungent
is
flavor.
one of my favorite
Interesting.
flavors. So I would use lemons a lot, and also like lemons, lemon juice, lemon zest, all that stuff. I use a lot of that, and I do a lot of marinating of meats and things like that. Citrus is very good for that because the acid breaks down the meat and tenderizes it. It also imparts a really good flavor. So if I was going to plant a tree, it would probably be a citrus tree. A tree would struggle in my yard as well because you have to remember I live in the woods, so there's a lot of already very mature trees that have taken root there. So planting a young tree there, it's battling with literally 100-foot tall oak trees.
Okay. And last one then, based off my childhood, my grandfather hooked it up. I had a garden growing up. Raspberries. We had a raspberry bush. It was dope.
So
And
the
blackberries,
reason I'm
for that
not
matter.
doing raspberry, I would actually do rather than raspberries, I'd probably do blackberries. I love raspberries, and blackberries. But of the 3, I think blackberries are the best and they grow the largest. But the reason I'm not doing
Indeed.
that is primarily because harvesting them is a pain because they grow on
Yeah.
brickle bushes.
Pointy
I
bushes
don't
of
need to
doom.
get, I don't feel like putting in that effort at the moment. And yeah, I love them.
Okay, but
I don't want to
put
harvest.
put on your Dr. Quinn medicine woman Frontier Plains hat and realize you have children with tiny little hands. Send them.
Oh, that's fair. I could do that. But I am growing strawberries as well. And so that's everything I've got in my garden right now. The plan also is this is going to be an evergreen garden.
Aren't strawberry bushes or strawberry plants slightly pokey too?
No. Strawberries grow on like a leafy bush.
Why? I thought something else you mentioned was like slightly pokey and or textured. Maybe I was thinking of zucchini leaves that are thick and
It might
coarse.
be, but I'm growing cucumbers.
Yeah, you're growing cucumbers. Okay.
But so the plan is this garden's going to be something, it's going to produce, the things I'm growing are going to have multiple harvests throughout the whole spring, summer season. And in the fall, I'm going to replace some of my crops that don't grow well anymore, like strawberries, things like that won't grow anymore. Lettuce in my environment, in my climate, will grow year long. So I can keep growing lettuce. I can keep growing spinach. I can keep growing carrots if I want to. I'm going to replace garlic grows really well in the fall and winter in North Carolina, according to ChatGPT. So I'm going to grow a bunch of garlic. And garlic, if you do not actually like peel it and stuff, garlic will last like 6 months. So
Yeah, garlic
my
lasts
plan is
forever.
to plant garlic in the fall, harvest in the early, like March timeframe, and have enough. I love garlic. Have enough garlic to supply almost all year long.
Isn't garlic a borderline invasive species though? Like I thought growing garlic was you got to
But
make sure you get it all, or else you get like the land clap.
I think that you can, but again, this isn't a. Remember, this is in a contained
Oh,
bed. It's
duh,
not in my.
yes.
It's not in my ground. This is in a
Okay,
bed
okay.
that's lifted in, like in its own soil, so I can plant anything.
Gotcha. See, details matter, and I lose sight of that.
Yeah,
I
so
like
that's
it.
what I'm growing, and that's my plan.
I like it. I like it. It'll be good. I can't wait to hopefully have fresh things the next time
By
I
the time you
visit
come
you.
visit, I should have been able to harvest at least the first round of tomatoes and peppers and my lettuce, so we could, at minimum, could have a pretty dope salad.
We're having a salad. Let's go. And it's going to make you healthy. It's going to set you on the path towards being a vegan as you share resources amongst your fellow
I'm not gonna. I would never go vegan
gardeners.
either.
3 years
Like
ago, you probably would have said you never grow a garden.
veganism
So
doesn't
here
even
we
make
are.
logical sense. Even if you were going to go vegetarian, veganism doesn't even make logical sense. Like chickens laying eggs doesn't hurt them. Cows, if you don't milk them, will die. Like saying you refuse to take that stuff because it comes from it doesn't even make logical sense.
Logic has nothing to do with it, sir. I'm just charting out your path.
Yeah,
Like, that's
no, if
all
I
we're
go,
doing here.
I'm giving you and the audience of this show full permission. If I go down that route, have me committed.
Why?
Because everyone who's a vegan should be. We're going to lose our 3 fans that are vegans, but there we go.
All right,
All
well,
right, so let's shift gears a little bit. We talked enough
yeah, I was
about my
about to
garden and Mountain Dew.
I was about to say, where are we shifting to? I can't, now that I'm using this fancy
All
app, I
right,
don't know
so
how
would
long
you
we've
like to
been
tell? So
recording.
Andrew just did a cross-country drive, a drive I'm actually very familiar with, having done it 4 years through college in the early 2000s, from Denver, Colorado to Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kalamazoo, right? Um,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, sir.
So how'd your drive go, Andrew? Back on the road.
Fine.
You went from living in a bus to living in a house like a person to back on the road. So how'd it feel?
Well, I mean, I stayed in hotels in between, so it wasn't that much of a return to the nomadic roots.
Why not?
Uh,
I mean, like that. I figured that'd be more like of a comforting return to form for you, like sleep in the car, poop in a bush.
well, I had a hotel, first of all, and I only had to stop once, and I actually traveled more than I think like 2 hours in a day, because you can travel over 65 miles an hour. You can cover Great Lakes in a single day.
Shocking how that works when you actually use a car for its design purpose and not as a small crappy house.
Yes, but my one takeaway that I have is every parent I know has gotten their transportation wrong. It's all these big dumb SUVs, and we're picking up and throwing our children our into these massive behemoths. 2 words, minivan. 2 more, Chrysler Pacifica. Even 2 more, electric doors. Beep beep. Dog jumps in, dog comes out. Yes, I got a minivan for the sake of my dog. Specifically the Chrysler, because engineering brains still remembers it had the stone go seating. So I fold down the middle seats, lay out a blanket. We got toys. We got a water dish, which was a terrible idea because it spilled on the first bump. I don't know what I was thinking, but hey, we rolled with it. It's a rental. Yeah, I don't understand why you parent folks all have large SUV type things when in this minivan I had all this space to like run around in. I was moving. At one point it was cold outside and we were at a rest area and I just kind of like jumped in the back and pet her for a bit and did some stretching. It was great. Why aren't minivans
My mom had a
popular?
minivan growing up when minivans were there are far fewer of them on the market now than there were. My mom had a minivan for years, and like I'm not going to deny, I think there's a lot of benefit to them. However, you mentioned you lump me in with parents, like obviously I'm a parent of 3 children. You lump me in with parents with a big SUV. I don't have one, my wife does. I have a small little borderline sports car, a completely impractical vehicle for a family of 5.
Borderline.
It's for it's a sedan. It's a 4-door
It
sedan.
is absolutely, in every sense, a sports car. Borderline my left cheek and or testicle.
Okay, I mean,
Borderline
I get what you're
nothing.
saying.
It's an
Like
M car, you
performance-wise,
nut
yes,
sack.
but it does have 4 doors. My point being, I don't have a big giant SUV. I have a much more impractical vehicle for a family.
Yes, and I took much more umbrage with the borderline state, but you also don't have your whole herd in your car.
Not typically, no.
Have you ever tried to go 5 deep in there?
Once.
Ooh.
It can be done. It's not comfortable for anybody in the back, but it can be done.
So I was trying to work out why. Why have we moved away from awesome vehicles like hatchbacks and minivans towards some practical things like SUVs? Like, do people really like sitting higher when they drive? Like, I don't get the allure there.
I mean, minivans sit higher too.
It didn't feel as high as like
Maybe it's not. I haven't been in a
Blazer.
minivan in a while. Maybe it's not as high. It's higher than my car.
Oh, well, again, you drive an M.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just minivans have developed a reputation. Like I can tell you flat out, my wife will not get a minivan.
Why?
Like you can ask her that yourself and talk her into it because I have no issue with it. I agree with you. I think practicality wise, it's probably more practical than getting we have a 3-row SUV and all she's talking about doing is upgrading to the larger 3-row SUV, which a minivan would solve the problems that we have to solve more effectively for a lower price point as well. So if you can talk her into it, more power to you. I have no issue with it and I won't fight that.
And
But I can tell you
I
right now,
feel like,
my wife is one of those people who's like, I'll have an SUV. I will not have a minivan.
and I understand that, like, yes, our parents had them, and that's why we don't think they're cool. And that's what I think it ultimately boils down to, is we don't think it's cool.
It's definitely that
We
she
have
doesn't think it's cool,
multiple
but like in the
children.
case of my wife's family, my wife is an only child. Her parents never had a minivan, so I don't know what her particular issue with it is.
Interesting. We might have to have her on to unpack this. Because, yeah, the other
I'll see if
thing
I can
too,
line her up as a special guest at a later date to answer this question.
yeah, because the other thing too is, like, I'm assuming it's worse with actual children, but with a 60-pound black lab, having her get in and out in a parking lot with doors that don't swing way open, they just need about 7-8 inches to slide out and then go all the way back,
Oh no,
creating a large.
that would be an amazing improvement when you have kids that will, by their nature, instantly push the door as far as it can. So you have to get there and stand between them and the door and the other car, so they don't ding the cars around them. So yeah, it would be amazing to be able to be like, okay, son, go get in the car. The door's going to go a total of, to your point, 6 inches to the side. I'm not worried about you hitting the other car.
They don't even need to touch it. I could control it off my key fob.
True, but even if I do let them touch it, it still is going to go automatically, and they cannot smack another car with it. So I agree with you 100%. And the stow and go seating, fantastic, because when you don't have all the kids and you want some extra room, put them down. When you've got them all, load it up. I think nothing you're saying I disagree with. I'm just telling you, as a man who has a family of 5, I'm telling you, there is definitely a stigma around them, and I can't figure out what it is, aside from the fact that they became associated with soccer moms, and I guess people just don't want to be that now. But like, the funny thing is, my wife fully acknowledges like that is her life, and so I don't know why she won't just embrace this is by far the most practical and comfortable vehicle to have.
And what's funny to me is growing up, soccer moms had Chevy Suburbans. So, SUV.
True. And actually a lot of, and that's basically what they have now. So it's like, it's a soccer mom car. So I'm with you. And like, normally they have more storage space too. Cause like, there's a lot about them that I think, and engine wise and stuff, they're pretty much normally the same engines that you're going to get in like a Suburban or something. When my mom she had a Chevy Venture when I was a kid, when I was middle school through high school, which they don't make that one anymore, but it was a V6, which is the same thing you're going to get, the same thing in my wife's Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think I had a V6-ish. I mean, it was...
They make them with a V8 because my grandmother had a V8 in her. My grandmother has had minivans for at least, like, now she doesn't drive because she's 90. And the whole world is better off because she's not driving. But my grandmother had a minivan for like 40 years, just constantly had minivans. And I don't think we ever had one with less than a V8. So you can get them with, like, they have plenty of power.
Well, now I think the only options you have in minivan is like a Honda, a Toyota, or a Chevy. I think maybe Mercedes still makes the R.
I mean, Chrysler still makes the Pacifica, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, that was the first one I thought I had, but yeah, that's what I had. And
yeah, my grandmother had a Chrysler Town and Country for years.
Yeah, I don't know why they killed off the Town and Country name to make it a Pacifica, but I picked up the van with 8 miles on it.
Oh, wow.
Which was nice.
And I bet it had a nice info, because here's the thing. What's funny, too, is like, we're off on a tangent, so I'll bring us back to your road trip in a moment. But, you know, the funny thing is my wife will tell you the thing she cares most about in her car, more than anything, is like the interior, like the seats and stuff, but then the infotainment system. Like, how is it going to, like, and I'm sure that new Pacifica you drove probably had a really nice one.
I mean, it was all wireless Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, and it was probably, the sound system was probably good and stuff like that. So, like, she cares about that. She doesn't care. Like, I care about the engine, things like that in a car. My wife doesn't.
No. I mean, the only complaint I had is, well, and I was also driving out, I was catching the wind and also 8 miles, so no engine break-in. So I got like 19 miles to the gallon heading out.
But luckily, it's not your car, so you don't care if you ragged out the engine. So.
Yeah, and coming back, I got 21, but I also had the wind at my back. So. But funny, pick up the van again, 8 aforementioned miles. I'm driving into my apartment complex and I notice 2 people in front of me almost get into an accident. Internal monologue goes off. People are so stupid, blah, blah, blah. Why can't anybody just pay attention? Then I hear, hey, like, what was that? I look over, my mirror's now folded in on the passenger side. I had brushed another mirror, and I'd apparently drifted to the right as I was internal monologuing about how bad people are as drivers. And, like, there was no actual damage. Everything still worked, but I had to, like, get out and open the mirror back up. And I was like, let's hope that's not an omen for things to come. And luckily it wasn't, because I didn't have any issues.
That's good, but even if you did, I mean, I assume you got the extra insurance for a drive that long. Oh, you didn't? I would have for a drive that long, just because if you get dinged on the interstate, they're going to charge you for it.
$35 a day, and I had the vehicle for 2 weeks. Like,
that's a long time. I didn't realize you had it for 2 weeks.
That was the other wild thing too. It's something with like the weekly booking rates. Is I looked at renting it for 3 days to drive out to give myself a buffer day to return it, and then 3 days again to come back. It would have been $800. To book it for essentially Hertz.
That just seems like, I mean, it's been so long since I rented a car for personal use, so maybe that's just the going rate. Like,
and plus
I normally rent for business, but when I used to rent through National all the time. I'm an executive platinum with National, or executive elite, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, no, but they definitely, I'm the highest with Hertz, and they definitely charge a higher rate for the van. Like all of the
that's the thing that National is nice for, is they don't charge extra for those cars because you can just take the upgrade.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that was weird too, is if I would have just gotten like an economy car, they would have upgraded me to like the premium car, but there was no pathway for me to get the sand, so I had to pay out the butt. Or I could have it for like, I think it would have to be 10 solid days, was $450.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to then.
Yeah. So that's what I did, and then I ended up extending 2 days because my unemployment and obliviousness to the calendar had me driving out on a Friday and then coming back to Denver on Good Friday. And my brother was like, hey, idiot, you should, holiday, Easter, stay. I'm like, oh, yeah, good call. So then I pushed it out 2 days. But, yeah, minivans for the win, man. Minivans and hatchbacks. Maybe I'm just super utilitarian. I don't know. But
hatchbacks is definitely a you thing. I mean, you've liked hatchbacks as long as I've known you.
Always.
Not a big fan of hatchbacks. I can get behind it on the minivan. I don't think you're wrong on that. Hatchbacks will continue to be you.
So question for you, Jeff. Question for you. What's our time check at?
We're closing up on 45 minutes. So we we can wrap or we can get into Crimson Desert very briefly if you'd like to hear
I
about
was
it.
about to say, we're technically supposed to be some type of nerdy media adjacent talk space. And we've talked about gardening and minivans and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, so let's talk Crimson Desert for a moment because we've talked about it before on the show. I was thinking about getting it, was very on the fence because it was getting kind of
And Jeff, wait. Sell me this pen. What is this pen? Crimson Desert. Go.
So it was a mixed bag. It was getting a mixed bag of reviews, but I will tell you, Crimson Desert, hands down the best game I've played in the last 3, 4, 5 years. The last game I remember sucking me in the way Crimson Desert has was Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost, I do it.
And I go to that well often when I'm talking about good games, but it's because I am not the level of gamer that Andrew is or that my brothers are, where I'll like go through 1,000 new games a year. I am very selective with the games I put my time into because I have limited time, and it just takes a lot for me to get sucked in. But I am not even that deep into Crimson Desert. I've put maybe 8, 9 hours into the game so far. And prior to even buying the game, my brother got the game first because I was very iffy because the reviews were very, very mixed. And I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $70 on this game and hate it. But my brother got it. He played it. And at first he was like, this kind of sucks. And then he texted me like 5, 6 hours later. He's like, this game rocks. I am freaking all I'm thinking about when I'm not playing it is I want to go play it. And so what he told me was like
pre-patch or post-patch?
He played post-patch.
Okay, because I heard like some things were concerning.
I don't believe he ever played. I've only played post patch. I don't believe he played pre patch, but I'd have to check. But yeah, with the patch,
So
I think it's great.
You got hooked. You're hooked.
Oh, I'm hooked. And like,
why are we hooked?
So that's what I was gonna say. Is he told me early on there's like a 6-hour or so slog before the game kind of opens up and it's really fun. I personally didn't notice that. I'd say the first 2 to 3 hours of the game, it's gonna be a little bit slow. There's a lot that is trying to set up, a lot of game mechanics you're trying to learn, and it's gonna take you through a bunch of story beats that are kind of slow. But once you get into that, then the open world aspects of the game are as good as any I've ever played. Down to the point of like you can just wander around and do whatever you want. Ton of fun, just go fight bandits. I think I know the combat's gotten a lot of bad reviews. I haven't got a lot of the really fancy powers yet, so maybe it's going to get more complicated as I do. I know the control scheme gets a little more complicated, but I think the combat flows really smoothly. I think it's really fun. I think the story is engaging.
The combat is like fill in the blank.
The combat to me is sort of like a mix between like an Arkham style game where it feels like it's very flowy, and try and think of a really good hack and slash style game. Maybe.
Did you play The Witcher 3?
I was trying to think if it's similar-ish to The Witcher, but there's enough difference that I wouldn't call it Witcher-esque.
So is it third person?
It's a fully third-person game.
Okay.
Which for those type of games, I don't like first-person games when you're like, that's the one problem I have with games like
Cyberpunk, like Skyrim. That's my pet peeve. Because when
that's
you
the
do
one problem I have with
just
Skyrim
kind of
stuff is I don't like watching my guy just swing his sword and like
it's flailing violently and wildly. Because for some reason, and this could be me sucking, and let me know if you have this issue, but I feel like my targeting with melee when you're in that first person view.
I suck at first person melee games. First person shooter works because like you're looking down the sights of a gun, it makes sense. But first person melee games, I also am not good at, and again, maybe it's just because I'm not that good. But I also
still have the reticle.
I don't think they're interesting to watch.
But we still have like the little aim point to say like, hey, when you go,
it's just not.
You're going to bisect this point, and somehow I still cannot get into it or cannot be good at it.
I don't like first-person melee games at all. So this is a fully third-person game. You're jumping around, so it feels kind of like Assassin's Creed, early Assassin's Creed, not like the newer stuff. Like early Assassin's Creed, Arkham-ish, with a little bit of Witcher thrown in, because it's like there's a lot of combo type stuff. It's a lot of timing, and I like it. Like to me, that's fun. I find it engaging. I think it's fun to get into, and it's the first game in a long time that I can sit down and say, okay, I'm just going to do one more thing, and then I look at the clock, and it's 2.5 hours later, and I realize I need to get off because I thought I was going to get off 30 minutes. Like I thought I was going to get off 2 hours ago, but I played something, and then I was like, well, then I'm going to do this other thing really quick. Like the last thing I did, and again, I'm not deep into the game. The last thing I did was like doing a bunch of quests around one of the first areas you're in, and you're dealing with this trade guild and stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this quest. And I was like, well, it kind of leads right into the next thing, so I got to go do that. And it leads right into the next thing, so I got to go do that. And I didn't stop until I beat the final guy.
So is the questing aspect more of a go here, do XYZ, kill thing, we're done, or is it more of like a story-driven building kind of questing system? What would you say it is so far?
I'd say it's a mix. So I haven't played a lot of the main story of the game yet.
Okay.
But the side questing stuff, I'd say, is kind of it's definitely more than a fetch quest. There's an element of fetch questing in it where it's like, go here, do this. But it also, a lot of the side quests build on each other and tie in together. So it's kind of a story building questing where you feel like, at least to me, I really feel like most of the quests are like things you're doing for people in the community in that area you're in. Like, hey, such and such bandits were doing this. So like you go and kill the bandits, but then that helps you figure out that those guys were also causing this other problem over here. And so like it feels very integrated and very immersive to me. Like you really feel like I'm in this world.
Okay, so you're in the world and you are what? You are savior, raider, bandit. We're gonna like level up to kill God eventually. Are we JRPG in it? Like, give us 10,000-foot view of the plot for like the first 2-3 hours.
Yeah, so the basic plot so far in the game, it's first of all, it's not an RPG. It's an action adventure style game. Again, like a Ghost. So you're gonna get like abilities and things like that, but it's not a true RPG where you're leveling up stats. Okay. There's an element of that, but it's more like level up your health, level up your stamina, get new abilities.
Equipment, yay, nay?
Yes, fully customizable equipment. Most of the abilities come from, and this is actually something they pitched even before the game came out. You don't really level up. Most of the abilities you get come from the equipment you go and find.
Oh.
And then there's a little bit of stuff you can get through these like artifacts and stuff like that, which I won't get into because we don't have time. But it's very equipment. Like you can customize. You can wear a different helm and different like gloves versus things. And I'm wearing some armor that I got the deluxe edition for an extra $10. So I got some slightly better armor to start the game. So I'm wearing that. And so the 10,000-foot view of the plot is you're part of a group of basically seems kind of like Viking-esque people that live in the north of the world of Pywell in a land called, I think it was Payloon. You're not there. I'm not there anymore. Like the prelude of the game, you play a little bit and you're basically sets it up and then you're never in that spot anymore. And you're part of a group called the Greymanes. The Greymanes get wiped out by some dude who is from essentially a rival clan that's like trying to kill everything. The Greymanes are known worldwide apparently for being like honorable and super badass. And so like you're one of the survivors. You lived through this battle and now you're trying to find some other Greymanes because you want to essentially get vengeance and rebuild the Greymanes. Beyond that, I don't know much of the story yet. The other thing that's going on is there's some aspect of you get pulled into like this magical side of things where you end up going to this thing called the Abyss, which is not actually down under. It's like up in the sky basically for whatever reason. And you're doing these things to like, you're trying to restore the Abyss because it's essentially like you're trying to save the world from some type of cataclysm in that way as well. But I don't know much about that yet.
Okay. Well, seems pretty solid. I like the idea of gray mains because my favorite Warhammer chapter is the black mains, so we're close. That's fine.
Very close.
How customizable is the drip? Can we change colors or is the armor stuff static?
So far, the armor is static that I've got. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true of later armor sets or not, but the armor sets I have are static in terms of color. But there's a lot. I've seen a lot of different like screenshots of different people's stuff. There seems to be a large amount of different drip you could get. You may not be able to customize the color, but you could definitely have a very different looking guy than me.
Okay, fine. Any type of multiplayer?
No, fully single player game.
Okay.
At least as it is now. I mean, Ghost launched as a fully single player game and they added multi, so anything could happen. But as it stands right now, it is a fully single player game.
Okay.
But it's also
And
pausable, which, if you recall, was one of my key criteria for a game,
yes.
because I could pause it and walk away, which is very important in my current situation. So it is pausable, which is nice.
Yes. The only concern I really have based on your description sounds solid, sounds like a great time sink given my lack of employment and also lack of desire for employment. Um, yeah.
The
Big
only thing you're worried
concern
about is
though,
what?
ah, the lack of any type of online multiplayer aspect, even in like a kill team, not great. And then the other part is control complexity.
Again, the control complexity to me, I'm like, I've heard it's really bad mouse and keyboard. Neither one of us plays games that way. I assume you'd be getting this for PS5. It runs
Indubitably.
very well on my PS5. I have no issues with it. I don't think the control complexity is that bad, at least so far. It will probably get more complex and I have more availability of moves, but I personally have not found, I am not that great at complex control schemas. You and you're well aware of that.
Hmm.
I have had no problems playing this game. It is simple
Solid.
enough that I can play it without issue. So I don't think the complexity of controls would be an issue for you. The multiplayer thing is, it is what it is. Like, that's not what the game is designed to be. Whether or not they add that is to be seen. The devs definitely seem to be listening to the players and have been modifying stuff directly based on player feedback in a positive way. So there's definitely a possibility that if there's enough of an outcry from the community to do that, that I could see them adding something like that later, like Ghost did. But it's not
Okay.
there today. It's
Last
definitely meant
last
to be like a
question.
single player game time suck.
Yeah, last question, then final thought. Is it one, do you think it feels like one of those games where, you get to the end game relatively quick and then you just start grinding for better gear? Or do
Uh,
you think it's going to be more of a story-driven, long story, long play style, like couple 100-hour games?
it is very hard for me to say at this
Oh.
point. It's a very good question. Unfortunately, I can't really give you an answer. I
Speculate
got the
wildly, speculate wildly, and go.
I think it's probably going to be a longer. I think that if you just wanted to do just story beats, only story beats, that the game's probably 40 to 50 hours of story beats is what I get the feel of. Based on the puzzles you've got, because there's puzzle solving, there's fights, there's all kinds of, like, it seems like you're going to have to rebuild your actual Greymane clan and actually get like a home base and like start to actually build up a home base, which is cool. So there's a lot of aspects to it. So I'm guessing story driven alone is probably 40 to 50 hours. But if you wanted 100% the game, I'm guessing it's a 200-hour game.
Would you like to know what Google says?
Yeah, because I honestly don't know.
50 to 80 for story, 150 if you do side quests and explore a bit, and 100% completion, probably 300 to 400 hours.
See, and to me, that's pretty freaking solid. So I was on the low
Waste
side. If
some
it's 50 to
time.
80, I was thinking 50. So I was on the low end of that. And again, like, I will tell you, my brother is, you know this as much as I do. My brother is typically pretty fast playthrough of games. He was like 40 hours in, I think, last time I talked to him. He thinks he's done maybe 5% of the main story because he just started wandering.
All right, so and that always leads to a funny thing in games, which I personally enjoy, is any type of grindy game where you can like get yourself almost borderline overpowered relative to where you should be. I
And
will,
then when you go
and then
play
I
the
will
story,
just
you can just run it.
dog walk things. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like that's a game. That's a possibility in this game because I can tell you the game's just gotten to the point where I feel like I can now wander freely and kind of choose what I'm going to do, and I'm probably just going to go wander into the desert and find what I find and just play it out because like one of the things I'm most excited about is just getting lost in the world of Pywell, and it's been a while since I had a game where I was like I just want to go get lost and see what the devs put out there, and this game
Okay.
has them. And like you said,
Okay.
300 to 400 hours to 100% a game, that is a ton of time.
It is. I mean, heck, I'm still working on unlocking everything in Space Marine. Well, that's not true. I don't want to unlock everything and use that premium currency, but like maxing all the levels and stuff, I'm north of 300 hours and I'm still not done. So another 300 hour game. Let's go. Okay, so last question. Have you started to neglect your children to play the game? Because you
I,
mentioned, 2.5 hours when I'm expected for an hour. Like, Is the youngest sitting in dirty diapers? Are children going unfed? Are we
Not
forgetting
yet.
about
No,
our
I've
fatherly
only played the
duties?
game after bedtime so far. This week, the week I got the game, also I got the game last week Friday, and then was busy last weekend with Easter and stuff like that. And then this week was spring break for my kids, so I haven't played much this week. But I played at bedtime. But it's a game like if I had a day where it was just me in the house, um, I could get sucked into the game, play all day long.
And this would be an interesting test for me personally because I've been questioning my ability to like continuously do anything for a prolonged period of time, be it, read, game, whatever.
Mhm.
So if they could pull me in for like a solid 5 hours, that'd be pretty wild. I'll have to keep an
I would
eye
be
out
if
for
you
a
get it. If
sale.
you get it, you'll have to give your update to the show as well because I'm curious what you think. I am a big proponent of Crimson Desert. I was on the fence about it because it looked really cool, but it could have not lived up to the hype. To me, it has lived up to the hype and more. It is definitely the best game I've played in a long time. The other small thing I'll throw out there, not a big deal. I love games that don't do this, but when they do, I think it's cool. Fully voiced.
Ooh. Wait,
It
human or
depends.
AI
I
voice?
play plenty of games that are not fully voiced, and I have tons of fun. But it's a nice aspect when it's there, and I think the voice acting in the game is pretty good.
Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. It's 2026. Let me ask. So does Crimson Desert use AI? Because if it does, I have to hate it. I think that's the rule. Oh. Mm, mm.
They use generative AI, I guess, or what?
They did. First, for experimental placeholders, for 2D visual props.
Oh no. Yeah, well,
Uh,
I'll let it go.
no, I'm gonna boycott. I'm gonna boycott. I would support the devs, but there's no devs to support.
Well, and with that, we'll leave it. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.